Hey guys, it's Sam here from NTC, and it looks like Samsung has finally taken some notes on how to make their newest phone in the Galaxy lineup better than its predecessor. Well, this is the review for the Galaxy Note 3, and let's get started. So let's get started by taking a look at what content the box has inside, and keep in mind that this phone has already been set up to make this review as smooth as possible. So the first thing we have is the phone itself, and let's just move that to the side for now. And first up is the quick start guide, the USB 3.0 cable, the S Pen tip remover, some extra ear tips, the Samsung headphones, and finally the wall wart. Now let's move on to the specs of the phone. So this phone features an amazing 1080p Super AMOLED panel with a PPI of 386. It also has a blazing fast Snapdragon 800 processor which clocks in at 2.3 GHz. And it features a 13 megapixel rear facing camera with a 2 megapixel front facing camera. And to power all that, this phone has a gigantic 3200 mAh battery. As you can see, the phone features an expandable micro SD card slot and a SIM card slot. And now let's just pop the battery in. And now let's boot up the phone. And yes, the phone screen just got destroyed by my fingerprints. Now, when you boot up the phone, it presents you with this Samsung animation. And when the phone has finished booting up, you're presented with this unlock screen where you can swipe anywhere and get this satisfying ripple effect. Now let's take a look around the phone. The bottom of the phone now features a USB 3.0 slot, which charges the battery much quicker, and it also has the new speaker grill. And now looking at the screen, all I can say, it's an amazingly sharp 5.7-inch panel, and the colors really pop out. It's probably the best screen I've seen so far. This phone does feature a thin bezel, which just adds to the experience. And now let's move to the back of the phone, where the biggest external changes have been made so far. The Note 3 features a fake leather plastic back, which is certainly better than the slippery glossy back featured on previous Galaxy devices. And this phone is very light considering how big it is. Swiping through the home screen, I can say that Samsung did kill most of the lag issues when swiping, and it still tends to stutter sometimes, which I find quite odd considering the specs in this phone are just amazing. Now let's take a look at the camera app. It does feature live filters just like the app on the iPhone, which I think is pretty nice. I'm not going to go too in depth with this, but I can say that the image quality is very nice, slightly better than the iPhone 5. But I still prefer the 5S over the Note 3, but the Note 3 does have a ton of camera features to back it up. So if you guys are interested, just check out our Facebook page for some sample pictures that we took and a video that we made. Alright, for all the people out there that are thinking this phone is not usable with one hand, well, you're wrong. Samsung has made a way where you can just swipe in and out from the bezel that allows you to use this phone with one hand. But I didn't really find this that useful, as most of the screen is just filled in with this blue color, because I do like to use the full screen itself, as it's much more reliable and easier to use overall. This phone also features air gestures and smart scroll, which I still believe are just some gimmicks added by Samsung to hype the average consumer up, but I think they're pretty nice if you just want to show off to your friends and make them all excited. But they don't really seem to show that much of a benefit for me, and sometimes make the experience even worse as they tend to do things unexpectedly. Alright guys, now we're going to see how S-Voice stacks up against Siri. How tall is LeBron James?
LeBron James is 6
And Siri clearly just destroyed S-Voice in this test. And let's do one more test. What's the weather in Vancouver?
Okay, here's the weather for Vancouver between
Here is
today
the
and
weather
Friday.
for Vancouver, British Columbia.
And
The
yet
sun is
again,
shining today.
Siri is a bit faster than S-Voice, but I think S-Voice is just a little bit behind right now. Samsung does need to work on S-Voice a lot more to refine it and make it more optimized. Alright guys, now let's move on to one of the more exciting parts, which is the new and improved S Pen, which features a much better design, and now you can put it back in any side. It does feature air command that allows you to access several different features as pen window, which allows you to draw out a window to have a secondary app present. So let's just quickly open up the YouTube app, and I actually find this quite helpful as it makes multitasking much better. The S Pen also features screen write, which does what it says. It lets you write on the screen and save it in your gallery. And at last, it also has Scrapbooker, which lets you crop out small or big sections of the screen and save it in your clipboard. Overall, I think the S Pen is a very nice added feature which can come in handy in many occasions, and I think Samsung can definitely improve on this in the future. Alright guys, to wrap it all up, I'm going to say that the Note 3 is probably one of the best phones I've had all year, and honestly it has amazing specs and just a ton of features that you can play around with, and Samsung definitely is heading in the right direction in terms of this phone, but I still think they need to improve on the build quality and start removing some of their gimmicks, as I call them. But overall, I think this is a great phone for people that want a bigger screen, multitasking, and a lot of power. And thank you for watching. See you guys next time on NTC.